Welcome to Your Legacy Stories podcast. Your host, Natalie McQueen, helps people from all walks of life to create, live, and preserve their legacy for future generations to enjoy. Natalie's mission is to help you craft the legacy you deserve, encourage you to live it to the fullest, and then preserve it for future generations to enjoy. On this show, her guests share moments of purpose, gratitude, wisdom, and tradition, and of course, their legacy stories.
Hello, everyone. This is Natalie McQueen with Your Legacy Stories. Today, we have 4 amazing authors from our upcoming book, The Power of the Inner Sparkle. And you talk about sparkle, these ladies have a lot of inner sparkle. So first of all, ladies, thank you for joining me. I am so excited for the world to get hold of your stories and really dig deep. But let's go around the room and introduce yourself, your name, where you live, and why you said yes to the power of inner sparkle. Havilah, do you want to go first?
My name is Havilah Malone. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I said yes because when Bobby approached me about this project, her passion, her intention around being able to give women resources, tools, stories that help them to connect with their beauty, their resilience, their power. I was just like, I can feel your heart around this project, and I feel like it's something that aligns. And so I said yes.
Yeah, she does. She has such a heart, and the way she talked when we first spoke, I was just drawn in. It's like, yes, it's a book that needs to come out. It's a book that is so it shows the the journeys that everyone has gone on different journeys, but has that inner sparkle and that resilience and that here I am now, and here's how I'm going to be in the world. So it was just beautiful. How about you, Virginia?
Well, I like the concept and I like the idea of working with other people. My passion really is to try to inspire people, share stories, and I think by doing that, we lift each other up.
Absolutely. And where are you from?
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the beautiful Northwest.
Nice. And your weather's probably very nice there right now.
Today it is after 3 days of rain, but that's okay.
That's awesome. And MaryJo.
Hi, I'm MaryJo Vaculin, and I'm from California, originally from Utah. Just recently moved out there. And Bobby is the most inspirational person I think I've ever met. So just talking with her makes you want to do anything. When I'm having a day, I just go, Bobby, and I'm calling her on the phone. So, what inspired me to say yes is basically her, as you were mentioning, to her passion to do that. And I wanted to express to people and inspire people to believe in themselves and listen, from within. And, the answers are always there. And
Right.
to just believe in themselves and believe in their self-love and to, go forward with that. And yeah, she's a great inspiration.
That's awesome. Thank you. And how about you, Judy?
Well, thank you. And thank you, Natalie. And I first want to say that I got chills when Havilah was talking about Bobby's passion because I agree with her passion. I'm
Absolutely.
in Phoenix, Arizona, but the reason I said yes is because, like, for me, when I was going through my dark times, I read other people's biographies. And when I read about, like, it was similar stuff that I was going through, and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. And I gained strength to like keep getting back up. Like every time I fell, I'm like, that person did it. That person did it. I've
Yes.
seen so many other people do it. And I'm like, every time I heard somebody else doing it, I'm like, that gave me strength. So I'm like, you know, that's this being for women, and specifically talking to the very specific challenges that us women understand about other women just spoke to me. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, that feels right to me. It
Yes.
feels like, yes. I don't know how else to say
Big
it.
yes. That's awesome. So tell us a time when you maybe felt that your inner sparkle was being dimmed. Go ahead, Judy.
Okay. Well, for me, like, I remember like after everything like fell apart and I was trying to get back on my feet and I didn't have any money. I didn't have my car. I was having major panic attacks and it took all the energy I had to like just show up at my computer. And even though I had started my business, like the last clients I had fell through because I was having such panic attacks about calling that I mean, I don't know if that was it or something else, but I started listening to other people's like radio shows to try to get inspiration. And I called into one and there was this intuitive was being interviewed. And I don't remember anything specific he said other than like when he was talking to me, because I got through, the thing that stood out is he's like, "You seem very contracted to me, Judy.
Wow.
Just very contracted." I can't remember anything else he said, but like to this day, I remember those words.
Right,
And I was like, at that point, it's like I couldn't deny it for myself anymore. I
right.
mean, it's like I kind of already had that essence, but I was trying to get back up. But there was that part of me that's like maybe was maybe in a little denial about it. There's no denial after that. I'm like, this, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So like,
And often we're taught to hide it or to just put on that happy face, right? Or just keep going. And that's not
right,
the answers all the time if we don't look after ourselves and give ourselves grace or reach out to, someone that's what I love is when we go through different things in our lives and you end up connecting with someone and all of a sudden it seems like that person was put right in front of you for a certain reason, right? We've
right.
all had that and it's like it's that divine time, it's that meant to be. And whether they give us a message, a resource, just a friendship, it seems to be just that perfect divine time, and that's what we need. So Judy, how, like, from that point, how did you realize that you needed to move forward?
Well, I think at first I was like, I didn't know what to do, you know, but like I said in like earlier is like how I would like read other people's biographies.
Yep.
That's when I started listening to a lot of podcasts, I radio shows. Um, there's a teleseminars, telesummits were really big back then. And there was a lot of very empowering things. And a lot of those would have people talking about how to change your mindset, how to change, like monitoring my thoughts was the big thing. So it's like every one of those interviews gave me a tip. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that this week. And then the next week I would listen to another one. And I'm like, okay, this next week I'll work on that. And so like every week I would work on something else and just slowly I kept climbing back up and got where I could work again and
So that's such a powerful lesson that from someone else's message, you took your life and took a little tidbit of what they said, implemented it, and changed who you were and the direction you were going.
yes,
Beautiful.
step by step. It's
Yeah.
slow, but like, again, it's that endurance and knowing, it's just knowing that you're still going to get there.
Exactly. Havilah, what about you? Do you have a time where you remember your light being dimmed?
Certainly. And for me, it started a little bit younger, because of having experience with childhood molestation. It was something that definitely made me feel less than. I had a lot of shame and guilt around, the things that were happening in my life at that time, which then carried on into my adult years, where that same, like, trying to hide, not wanting people to
Mhm.
know like shameful aspect of my life, or these things that had happened, within my life. And so even though my soul was calling for expansion, and I was to be, in the public's eye, I was to be, shining brightly, I kept putting the lampshade over myself because it was my protection. I also, gained a lot of weight because it was a protection, a barrier to be able to hide and dim that light so that I couldn't fully be seen. And it wasn't until going on that journey of healing and doing the internal work of shifting that dialogue and knowing that just because of things that happen in our life don't define who we are
Mhm.
or
Oh,
our
that's so
worth.
important, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, and in life, has significantly shifted and changed because of doing the work. And I think it's important, as we share in these chapters and all these amazing women who are part of this book, that they get to share whatever that point in their life is and how they were able to overcome whatever the barrier was for them. So, yeah.
that's beautiful. Thank you. So, Mary Jo, when you think of the word sparkle, what does
Mhm.
that mean for you?
Oh, that's such a great word. It's such a great word. It is so deep with me because I have always tried to tell everybody you need to shine. You need to go within and take that light and take that inner self and that inner light and shine it to everybody else. And I've said it for years. And that sparkle is so important because it's just not a light, but it's kindness, it's love, it's giving. And that's it, it's just a whole light showing with sparkle.
Oh, I
So
love that. Thank you. How about you, Virginia? What does the word sparkle mean for you?
Well, for me, I have this, they talk about your light being under a basket or whatever. I always felt when I was going through my darkest times, I felt like it was like smothered um, under in a cave. And I think to me, no matter how dark it gets, there's always that core. There's always that part of you that you can access, and it might be through other people, it might be through reading or whatever. And sometimes it just somebody sparks that spark and they don't even realize they did. Like when you were talking about how you lost your way. I remember having a car wreck and I had to get a new car. It was right when my marriage was falling apart, and I the same day that I filed for divorce, I filed to adopt my two kids and bought a car.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I went to the car place and just walked in and I said to the guy, well, I need to buy another vehicle. And he said, well, what kind are you looking for? You probably want a van if you're getting two kids. I said, no, for the three of us, I don't need a van. And then I realized I'd already made a decision. I was only thinking of three of us, not four. And then and I told him that. I said, well, that's interesting because I, did all these things today. And he said, you wouldn't believe how many people come in here who are going through divorce or having chaos or whatever. And I remember leaving there and feeling like I was a dry leaf in the desert and somebody had just put a drop of water on me.
Oh,
Just the fact that he was that empathetic. So
yeah.
it made me realize how sometimes just the littlest thing by somebody who doesn't even know what they're saying can
Right.
save you.
Absolutely. I love that because you're exactly right. When Havilah and I were talking earlier today, I was sharing with her my lack of confidence in pictures and being pushed on stage and,
Mhm.
having to pretend that I'm comfortable up there. And when I showed her some of the pictures, she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's beautiful." So
mhm,
we don't always see ourselves in the same light as other people
mhm.
do. And that little bit of, you know what, you are that, or you have that in you, and that little push or little love from someone else can make such a difference. Yeah, absolutely. So looking at this book, you know, there's so many things that you probably could have shared about. What was the moment you knew the chapter you were going to write? And don't give us too much, but give us a brief, like why you knew you were going to write that chapter. MaryJo, you want to share first?
Sure. I originally started out writing actually a couple of other chapter ideas and sending them off to Bobby, and we were going, that's just not it. I mean, I was slamming my computer down going, that's just not feeling right. And then she said, you need to talk about going within and your childhood, things that went on with you as far as the angels and your celiac and all of those things like that. And when I did, everything just lifted, and it was like the light just came out and everything just flowed right there on the paper. And it was beautiful. And I said, that's what I'm supposed to do for this book for everybody. So I knew that is what I was meant to write and to give to everyone as a gift from me.
Beautiful. Thank you. How about you, Judy?
So it's interesting that I'm following MaryJo because I have a similar story, although the half of it is my original intention, but I did add more in the writing process because in that back and forth with Bobby, like more parts of me came out,
Yeah.
and I realized there was another aspect that really wanted to be talked about. But initially, the first thing was about something that other people can relate to, because that's what this book is about. And one aspect is the journey I went on with my sisters. I'm not going to go into too many details, but like relationships are hard, and how we do them is hard. And that I felt like, I just felt like other women were going to be able to relate to that. Mom with Alzheimer's, and then having to share decision making with 4 other people. I mean, it's a kind of thing that not everybody does, but I know that for the other people who are going through it, I think it might make a difference.
Oh, for sure. And what's funny when we go through experiences like that, you kind of think there's no one else that's going to understand that. And then when you put that out to the public, you hear, me too. I went through something very similar. And I know with myself, I kept it in for about a year and a half after my near-death experience because it was like something that you don't walk around and just share. But when I started talking about it, and I started talking about it in the bravery way to share, hey guys, start living your life the way you want to live it because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And I almost found that out. And I looked at all the regrets I would have had. And so that gave me the confidence to start speaking about it in little, and all of a sudden people were, saying, oh my gosh, I had a very similar experience and this is what my thoughts were, exactly what you're saying, and just on and on of I completely shifted doing this and now and it was like, wow, like there's so many people that will connect to us when we share our stories. We think, are they even going to want to read this? We can make such an impact. Yeah. Now I forget who. Virginia, did you?
Yes.
How about you? Tell us about your story, a little bit about your story, but like, how did you know that was the chapter to write?
Well, I started out when I heard Bobby was doing this, I thought, I have a chapter to write. And it was initially about my marriage, which a lot of people have. I always thought I was just so strong. I can do anything. And I believe that, but there was a while where I just put up with anything and figured I'll just push through. And then In the process of writing this chapter, Bobby said, well, we don't have that many adoptive parents and that kind of thing. So I said, well, and I was real hesitant. And the two things came up for me. One was when I started writing about the marriage, I just relived a lot of that trauma. And I was pretty crabby for a while because everything would, set me off. And it wasn't like I hadn't resolved it or dealt with it in the past, but it's like reliving that. I thought, And then I really needed to talk with my two adult children, who are my adopted daughters, because I thought, I can't do this if they aren't okay with it. And it took me a while to get up the bravery to say, I would like to say something here. And they eventually, I talked to both of them and they said yes. And I was really pleased. And one of my daughters was able to write some things about when she was younger. They were good things, but she just wasn't able to do that. And the other older one, I said, well, I had to revise it a little bit and it's not all nice stuff. And she said, well, I did that stuff, so it's okay. And that made me feel so much better because I did not want to traumatize them. They've been traumatized enough in their lives and I did not want to do that to them.
Sure. Oh, it's nice to have that support.
Well, and it opened a door to be able to communicate better with them.
Right.
And then also for them to look at their own story. And sometimes that's hard to do with your kids because your kids, your mom, you're not supposed to dig up all this old stuff.
Right. And we as the moms are the ones that, are one of the people that wrecked their lives.
Right. And what's hard with them is they had
parents. I'm like, was it that bad?
Right. And what was hard with them is they had so many moms before me. I got them when they were older children. I didn't get them as babies.
Okay.
So they had a lot of history.
Sure. Wow. And Havilah, what about you?
So my chapter is actually chapter 7, and it's breaking free, living limitlessly beyond the box. And so it was really important as Bobby and I were having conversations about, just life and life experiences and things that I had gone through, because I'm very open and speak openly to the things that have happened within my life that have brought me to this place. But I had never written about some of the deeper traumas and gone into it. And so I was just like, and quite frankly, there was a little bit of me that was like, you know what, maybe not, like I can talk about it, and move on, but I'm like, to sit there with the words and write this down and put it onto paper. It was a really emotional journey and ride for me. And also another part of my healing journey, to be able to then go back and deeply into a lot of the things that had happened, and a lot around muffling my own inner voice and not being fully true to the person that I came here into this life to be. And so I think it's really important that, because we all have struggles, we all have things that we have to overcome in life if we so choose to overcome them, and to be able to face that and then see how was someone able to get from this place to this place. And that was really important to be able to share in this journey and breaking out of boxes, because we all come into this life and are put within, whether it's societal, religious, familial, there's boxes that we can contort ourselves to fit into, but our souls, our being is so much bigger than that, and we get to live a life that breaks free from it. And so that's what I chose to share within my chapter.
Wow. So what would your younger self say if she saw you stepping into this kind of power now?
She'd be like, girl, yes. She'd be like, this is us. Like, this is what we came here for. And thank you. Thank you for letting me express myself and letting me be free, because I didn't want to get in that box. I didn't want to be confined and strapped down. I wanted this.
Wow. That's beautiful. All right. So MaryJo, what do you hope readers will feel or remember after reading your chapter?
That they, let's see, that they definitely need to believe in themselves, love themselves, shine every day, share themselves with others, cherish every single moment, listen from within, because we never know what's going to be happening tomorrow, because I've had that life-death experience myself, and boy, it's scary. So treasure it every moment and listen to all of the stories, because they'll help you in every different way. So with mine, I just want to share my gift to you and my love and light.
Oh, beautiful. How about you, Judy? What do you want readers to walk away with?
I want people to think or know that they're doing better than they think they are.
Nice.
Like, there's a part of my story where I break down in tears to my sister because I felt like a complete failure. I felt like I failed myself, my mom, my sisters, and everyone. And in actuality, my sister was grateful for all that I was doing,
Right.
because I was the power of attorney. So I was doing like so much. I was focused on all the things that were going wrong. I was focused on the things that I could not control. But what other people saw were the things that I did do.
Yep.
And so what I want people to remember and feel is that you are doing better than you think you're doing, and you have more support than you think you have.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
And that's the thing I learned too. I don't want to give too much away, but like, I will just, maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler, but I found that. And
Yeah.
so I just want to say, people, you're doing better than you think, and you have more support than you think.
Yep. And how about you, Virginia? What do you want readers to walk away with after reading your chapter?
Well, my chapter is called The Beauty in Catastrophe. And one of the things that I think has been very significant in my life is that I've realized that every step leads to the next step. And every step you take is valuable. It brings you to where you are now, and you make the choice. So life doesn't have to happen to you. You can become part of your life, be your best self, and you make the choice to be the person who you truly are.
That's so true. That is such a key, because giving ourselves grace along the way to do better, learn better, accept help, accept seeing our faults, and being okay with that. We're not perfect. No one claimed that we were. And these stories, every story is such a different piece of how women are speaking their truths, how they are going from sometimes breakdown to how they soared, becoming unstoppable, unleashing their real authentic selves and just standing in their power. So I really hope everyone out there gets a copy of this book. All the links are down below, and get it, read these chapters, and then reach out to the authors, let them know, give a review on Amazon, and just let them know how they've touched you after reading their chapter, or after you reading their chapter. How did you feel? Right? Any last words, ladies?
I'll leave the listeners with this. Whatever you think you are, you're so much more than that. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So you get to be proof of what's possible.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Your Legacy Story Podcast. If you would like to share your legacy story with Natalie or get your legacy book started, please reach out at giftsoflegacy@gmail.com. Be sure to add My Legacy Stories in the subject line. We would love to help you share your legacy message out to the world. Natalie would like to invite you to join our private Facebook group, Create Your Legacy Life. She shares tips on book publishing, ways to create and leave your legacy, and she interviews the most amazing legacy creators, sharing their moments of purpose, gratitude, wisdom, and tradition, and of course, their legacy stories. See you next week.